Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a massive challenge in IT. How do you give your users seamless access to their desktops and apps when everything's scattered all over the place? Different clouds, your own data centers? Well, we're going to look at a cloud service that offers a surprisingly elegant answer.
Okay, so let's start with a scenario that probably sounds, well, a little too familiar to a lot of you IT folks out there. Your resources are everywhere, right? Some are on-prem, others are in Azure, maybe you've even got workloads in AWS. So how in the world do you give your users one simple front door to all of it, without creating this total tangled mess of connections behind the curtain?
You know, for years, the solution was this patchwork quilt of manual configurations and legacy tools, a really complex machine that needed constant tinkering. The new approach, though, it's a complete shift. It's designed from the ground up to be streamlined, intelligent, and born in the cloud. And this is exactly where the Universal Broker comes into the picture.
To really understand why the solution is so powerful, we need to first walk through the problem itself. Think of it as the hybrid access maze, that daily challenge of trying to guide users to their desktops and apps, no matter where those things actually live.
Every good story needs a villain, right? And in this one, it's a technology called Global Server Load Balancing, or GSLB for short. Now, for a long time, GSLB was the go-to for directing users to the nearest data center. But, it was designed for a much simpler time, and it's just not built for the fast-paced, ever-changing world of the hybrid cloud.
So what makes GSLB such a headache? Well, first, it often requires expensive hardware that you have to install and maintain in your own data center. Second, trying to get it to play nicely with different public clouds can feel like a constant uphill battle. And you know who pays the price in the end? The user, with slow logins or just plain confusing connection errors.
So, if GSLB is the problem, then what's the solution? Well, it's time to introduce the hero of our story, the Omnissa Horizon Universal Broker.
So what is it, really? The best way to think about it is like a smart, cloud-based traffic cop for your virtual desktops. It's not a physical box you have to manage in your data center, it's a service that lives in the cloud. It keeps an eye on all your available desktops and apps and intelligently routes each user to the absolute best option at that exact moment.
From the user's point of view, the whole process becomes incredibly simple. They just click a single URL. That is it. Behind the scenes, the Universal Broker makes a split-second decision. It might see, hey, this user's in New York, let's connect them to the local data center. Or if that data center is slammed, it might seamlessly route them to a desktop running in Azure, all without the user ever knowing the difference.
Okay, that all sounds great, but how does it actually pull it off? Let's take a peek at the magic that's happening behind that one single URL and see what makes the Universal Broker so powerful.
It all really comes down to three key features working together in perfect harmony. First, you've got the intelligent routing, which always finds the best path for the user. Second, there's true hybrid cloud support, which means it treats your on-prem data center and your public clouds as one big unified pool of resources. And third, that unified access, which ties it all together with one simple URL. It creates a single logical system out of a complex, distributed environment.
And what this means for you, the IT administrator, is a true single pane of glass. From one central console, you can see and manage all of your Horizon 8 pods, whether they're in the building next door or running in a public cloud halfway across the world. That is a massive reduction in complexity.
Okay, so that's the tech. But what does this actually mean for your organization? For the bottom line? Let's translate these features into the real-world business value they deliver.
The benefits here are really tangible. You can finally decommission that expensive GSLB hardware. Your IT team gets back a ton of valuable time, since they're no longer having to troubleshoot complex connection issues. Your users are way more productive because they get a faster, more reliable login experience. And you get centralized control over your entire hybrid environment, which is a huge win for security and compliance.
And this simplified experience isn't just for one specific type of user either. The service works seamlessly across Windows, Linux, and Mac clients, and even directly in a web browser. So no matter what device your users are on, they get the same, simple, consistent access. Now, to give you the full picture, it's important to understand what it takes to get this up and running. So let's quickly go over the key requirements and a few other things you should probably be aware of.
There are a few key requirements to get the Universal Broker going. First, you've got to be using Horizon 8 pods. Second, those pods need to be connected to the cloud control plane. That connection is what lets the cloud service see and manage all your resources.
And of course, you'll need to make sure you're on a supported software version.
It's also worth noting that while it supports hybrid deployments, the service was really designed with Horizon Cloud Service on Azure in mind. That's kind of its home turf, its sweet spot.
And look, as with any enterprise service, there are some specific configurations and edge cases to think about, especially when it comes to certain client types or how resources are entitled. It's always a smart idea to consult the official documentation to make sure it's a perfect fit for your specific needs.
When you really boil it all down, the value proposition is incredibly simple, but so powerful. By centralizing all your desktop and app delivery behind one single URL, you're not just making things easier, you're fundamentally taming the complexity of the modern hybrid cloud. And that brings us to a final, pretty critical question. The reality is, our IT environments are only going to get more distributed. The old ways of managing access just aren't going to keep up. So as you look at your own infrastructure, the question isn't just if you need to simplify, but really, how soon can you start?